Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about they will regret losing you and how to make them regret dumping you. So the first point that I want to discuss is, this sort of information will not only just help with, your ex and things like that, but it also will help if you use this sort of method in any kind of situation where you feel like you've been misunderstood or undervalued, not appreciated, where you kind of like in a way want to prove someone wrong, right? So it could be like, let's say, a boss who demoted you or perhaps even fired you. It could be, a friend who no longer wanted to be your friend. Any kind of time when you felt like you've been rejected by someone. Sometimes it's good to have these kind of like hurtful experiences, because usually what it does is it gives you like a bit of an inner fire to like improve yourself and to get better. So you prove them wrong. So, what you got to understand though is that you may never know. You may never know if they regret dumping you. You may never know if that boss regrets, firing you. You may never know if that friend will ever feel regret and not wanting to be your friend anymore, right? It's just something that you use as a tool to improve yourself, okay? And, because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it that much, and that is, using sort of like the dark side of ourselves, that inner rage, to help propel us forward, and I've used that myself. I've wanted to prove people wrong. There were situations when I was a teenager where girls rejected me and things like that. I was pretty much a loser at one point, right? A really big loser as well. Like I was heading nowhere really fast, basically. And it wasn't until like I filled in my knowledge gaps and got better at dating that I started to improve in that area. And when I started learning about money and finances, that's how I improved in that area. So it was one of those things where like it really fueled me to get better, right? And sometimes you see it with two different people. They're in the same situation, right? They have maybe the exact same experience, and one person uses that bad experience to propel them forward, and to become better and to improve. And the other person, in contrast to that person, who was in the exact same situation, uses it to become a victim, to go, woe is me, to not be motivated at all, to be like, well, you can't expect me to do great in life when I went through that kind of experience. But yet there are other people who have gone through the same experience or a much worse experience and have come out better off, and they've actually used it in a productive way and seen it in a different light. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. Wayne Dyer is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So when you look at a situation with a different point of view, and you think of it in a more positive light, you can ultimately change and flip that situation and make it become a strength, right? So when I got rejected when I was a teenager and as an early adult and things like that, when I went through a really horrible relationship, and things like that, I've tried to use those experiences as fuel and motivation to try and learn something about myself, or something to help me improve in some way. So it's always about trying to find the seed of equivalent benefit in a failure, right? So with every failure there is a seed of equivalent benefit. So that means you just got to look for the positive. You just got to look for how you can use this, right? So you've been through a sucky situation, right? Well, that's pretty much everybody. Everyone goes through tragedy. So you're not special in that regard. Everyone is going to experience tragedies in their life where they feel absolutely horrible about themselves. People may seem like they're happy on social media, but I can guarantee it, they've gone through at least 5 different major tragedies in their life, right? And the older a person gets, the more tragedies they see, right? But the important thing is that you're able to look at those tragedies that happen to you, right? And find a way to improve yourself because of it. So let's say you go to a job interview and you completely blow it, you completely choke, right? It sucks, it hurts because it was a job that you really, really wanted, right? So you look at it and you think, okay, so what can I do now? Like, let's say, for example, your communication skills weren't quite up to par. Let's say you got really nervous and your mind went blank. So obviously you need to work on some sort of confidence there, perhaps some sort of like communication skills. Perhaps you need to take a course on, job interviews or something like that. Find something that can make you stronger. Try and make it so it was a sucky situation, it hurt, but you're now going to become better because of it, right? And it's the same when someone rejects you or dumps you, right? If you want to make them regret dumping you, then you've got to start looking at your life in this way. You've got to start seeing the tragedies as triumphs in a way, and try to find out how to make that tragedy into a triumph, right? So if you got rejected or you got dumped, yeah, that sucks. It hurts. It really does hurt. But you're now going to use that as a fuel to help you become better. And sometimes you may have to like dive in and really feel that rage or anger, and you might be thinking, I need to prove them wrong, or something like that, and using that to become better. Now, it's not like you're going to like message them and shove it in their face. So let's say you use their rejection of you, of them dumping you, as a fuel to become more successful or to become more fitter. It's not like one day you're going to message them and be like, look how successful I've become. You made a big mistake. It's not like you're ever going to say these things. It's not ever like you're going to take out your rage on them. It's all about using that rage to help you become better, right? And if they do end up regret dumping you, let's say you become super successful in whatever area you want, right? They may one day look at your social media profiles, or they may speak to someone who knows you and be like, yeah, maybe I should have stuck with them. Maybe I should have, they're really different. They really changed their life. They really became better. They really improved. How good for them. That's great. I kind of, maybe if I stuck with them, then maybe I would be also on the fun bus with them, and having a great time and living that life. They may just think about that quietly to themselves. Now, maybe one day they will reach out to you. Then, of course, you can do with that what you may. I personally don't believe it's a good idea to get back with an ex. I don't think you should, unless, it was a kind of a situation where, you couldn't. It was just a misunderstanding, but you really loved each other, and maybe someone got in the way, or maybe they thought that you did something that you didn't do. If it was just a misunderstanding, then maybe, yeah, it's okay to get back with someone that dumped you. But the point is that most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, the reason you two broke up and the reason they dumped you was because things really weren't going well and they weren't going to improve, right? But, sometimes when you go through this sort of experience, it really shakes up your world. And I think like the worse the experience, the bigger the learning curve. So if you go through like a really horrible experience, like getting rejected, like getting dumped by someone you love, there is a huge opportunity there for growth and to become better, and to use that as motivation to help you become better, right? So if you want help with like achieving with success, then I highly recommend that you go and check out my personal development channel. Especially if in terms of, let's say you've got a few goals that you're trying to achieve and you'd like motivation for doing that sort of thing, and you're wondering about how to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, because perhaps you want to start a business, or you want to start a project, or you want to become more successful in your job or your career, right? If you want help with that, then please go to that channel. But as you can see, like, it's all about that. It's all about flipping that situation on its head. And like I said, you may never hear from them. You may never know that they regret dumping you. But it's always fun, I think, sometimes to like think that, because I think it helps, boost your confidence a little bit. It helps you feel better about certain situations. It's fun to imagine basically that all your exes will regret dumping you because of how successful you are. It's a fun thing to think about. But you've got to use that rage. You've got to use that upset and hurt and flipping on its head, because a lot of people, when they go through a big rejection or get dumped, some people don't ever recover. Some people stay in that place and they feel horrible for the rest of their lives because that person that they love doesn't love them anymore. And it really does suck for, when that kind of thing happens, and I hate to see it, but unfortunately some people do feel that way. Some people are out there that, haven't been in a relationship for 10 years because they haven't got over that one woman or one guy that rejected them, or that one person that dumped them. When they could if they just changed their thinking a little bit and used that upset and hurt as fuel, they'll be able to, turn that situation completely on its head, and in a way become like an alchemist, where you like change, you know, obviously like an alchemist is where you change like metal into gold. But, you know, in this kind of situation, you're changing, you know, like a really crappy situation into a better one to, you know, it's like you're turning a painful experience into something that is going to actually help you move forward and turn it into success, right? And help you improve. So, you know, if you really want someone to regret dumping you, then you need to start becoming genuinely happy with your life. And the key word there is genuinely. You know, it's not something that you're going to try and shove in their face. It's something that you're internally going to do, obviously externally as well when it comes to like, you know, actually achieving stuff. But the important thing is that, you know, you're using that horrible experience to become better, right? And you're not going to let it defeat you. You're not going to let them defeat you, right? Because you're much stronger than that, right? And I believe that you are. Even if you don't believe it right now, if you can find a way to use this as motivation to become better, oh man, it's going to be a different world for yourself if you find out what those things are. If you find out that, you know, if you find your true passion in life and become, you know, successful in whatever area you see fit. You know, if you use that as motivation, it can really help. But like I said, it's not like you're shoving it in their face. It's not like you're being mean to them and messaging them every so once in a while, just, you know, bragging about yourself. You know, you've got to be genuinely happy and trying to make a better life for yourself. And that's what will ultimately maybe make them second guess their decision about you. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.